What's up? Welcome back to my Is Blank the Best episode of Dexter series, where we look at each season of Dexter and see which episode is the best. And yeah, I'm totally doing it. I've never done this before where I substitute another episode for another episode, but this time I'm taking out All in the Family as the best episode of Dexter and playing Do Take Dexter Morgan as the best episode of season 3. So yeah, I'm just doing it. So this episode starts off by taking place after Dexter killed Miguel Prado. And Dexter is basically, because, he killed a wolf and did all this bad stuff, so he kind of deserved to die, So Dexter, and he basically makes it so when the cops come, he basically makes it so he puts Miguel on the grass, so then when a jogger sees it, he'll call the police. So when police come, they'll bring him to the Miami Metro Department, and then they'll come. So they obviously think it's the Skinner because he's been the main secondary bad guy of the season. And he's obviously the worst bad guy, secondary bad guy of the season. So yeah, so they're like, why would the Skinner kill Miguel Prado? And he's like, and then Clint's like, obviously, because he was he was in it with Freebo. But yeah, Dexter's just made it so they think it's Miguel Prado. And yeah. Yeah, so Dexter is like, by Miguel. So then his brother Ramon Prado, gets angry at Dexter, saying, don't touch my brother. And he's like, well, then you let go of my hand, bro. Let go of my hand, bro. So what happens is that he's like, let go of my hand, bro. So back at home with Dexter and Rita, Rita's still pregnant. So yeah. So back with Dexter and Rita. Dexter and Rita are hanging out, and they are after. So it's been after the funeral of Miguel Prado, and Dexter's thinking to himself, "Oh yeah, this has been the first time he's ever been asked to leave a funeral." And Rita's like, "You weren't asked to leave. Ramon threw you out." And he's like, "Do you have a good reason?" And she's like, "He lost 2 brothers." And he's like, yeah, but at least it's not your fault. Yes, it is. And so Dexter's seeing like a thing from Rita's mom, and Rita's mom is basically like, oh yeah, she can't come because she's doing this teaching job. Literally, that's the reason why they couldn't get the actress back, is because her mom was doing a teaching job. So she basically like, that's her mom for you. And Dexter's like, 3's a charm. And Rita's like, yeah, I'll just come up with a lie saying, saying, oh yeah, 3's charm, meaning the 3rd kid is the charm. And he's like, Aster and Cody are charms too. So Dexter starts being suspicious, being like, did Rita just lie? So on his way home, he basically is practicing his vows when he basically realizes, when he's practicing his vows then Dexter realizes that by saying those things, it makes him look like he's marrying a unicorn. So then he goes back to his apartment, only to see that his apartment was ransacked. And the police guy says that, the police guy's like, hey, one of your neighbors saw a sketchy guy with a goatee and a bald head. And Dexter's like, Ramon Prado. So Ramon Prado decided to just wreck Dexter's house. So yeah, so at work, Dexter decides to look into Rita and is like, hey, her name used to be Rita Brandon. And at 16, she was married to another guy, but then divorced months later. So meaning that Paul and Dexter are her 2nd and 3rd marriages. But he never tells her this. Because I think she become mad that she's like, wait a minute, Dexter, you couldn't believe me, so you had to look into me. Bro, get out of my house. That's what I'd be like. So anyway, back with the police department. They're still catching the Skinner. Because that was the thing. The Skinners, they're still catching the Skinner. They still have the, like, they're still catching, they have the Skinner in jail. But they're still trying to catch the Skinner because they had him in jail, but Miguel let him out of jail, and Miguel kind of like sicked him on Dexter. So now he's kind of, he's kind of, on to Dexter now. So, yeah. So, the Skinner decides to abduct Dexter, which was round one of Miguel's plan before Dexter killed him. And he basically tells dude the truth. Like, dude, I killed Miguel Prado. I killed Freebo. He's like, you are lying. And Dexter's like, oh yeah, wow, I never thought I'd be on a kill table. He's usually seeing other people on kill table, not himself. What? He's usually saying people on kill tables, not himself. Huh. Anyway, Dexter, so Dexter's like, oh yeah, I've been in tougher situations than that. And then Ghost, hallucinate Jake Harry, is like, yo Dexter, you've never felt this emotion because you've never felt the reason to be a father. Now you're gonna be a father. You feel the emotion. So Dexter's like, power up mode, and is able to defeat the Skinner. So he snapped the Skinner's neck, and as the cops are coming, he throws Skinner so it hit Deb's windshield and hit the police windshield, and half of his face peels off. And Deb's like, and he's like, look, half of his face peeled off, and she's like, well, that's what you get. Now he gets what he deserves. So, yeah. So now 2 of the villains of the season has been dealt with in 2 different episodes. Yeah, I just didn't like this should have been Miguel's episode, not Skinner. Skinner was such a terrible villain that they just had to randomly, like his whole deal is that he just wants to get revenge on Freebo, so he kills the people associated to Freebo so he can get money. It's such a, and he and Dexter have no reason to dislike each other. Like Miguel and Dexter had that friendship, that strain. What do the Skinner and Dexter have? Nothing. Skinner just captures Dexter because he was hired to, not because they have this rivalry. This is how you like Dexter and Lila. They were enemies to love. They were lovers to enemies. That made sense. Dexter and the Ice Truck Killer, they were enemies to brothers. Dokes and Dexter, they were always enemies. The Skinner, he's just a guy who just wants money and will kidnap Dexter because Miguel said, yo, this dude has the money, knows what the guy you're looking for. And that's it. There is nothing to make him an interesting villain. And I think that's why people like looking over the Skinner, don't like talking about the Skinner when they review season 3 because he's literally a nothing villain. What does he do? Again, he just likes money, and Freebo owed him money, so he's willing to skin people connected to Freebo to get it. That's it. That's his whole motivation. Just see where I'm coming from with why he's such a terrible villain. So anyway, yeah. Aside from that, Dexter and Rita's marriage has arrived. And, Dexter and his dad are, so yeah. Yeah, also we have that scene from Ron Prado where Dexter decides to not ignore Ron Prado, decides to go. See Ron Prado actually points a gun at Dexter's face at one point and gets arrested. Ron Prado should have been the villain of the season because he had, multiple reasons to dislike Dexter. He He's the one that killed his brother, but didn't know it. He had anger issues. He didn't like how Dexter and Miguel were all pals with each other. He, you know, but Dexter reveals him, hey, your brother told me how he was the one that pushed you down, your abusive father down the stairs to protect you. But he's like, yeah, no, Dexter. Miguel lied to you about that. That was actually him who did that. And he literally is like, hey, you want to see your kids grow up to be angry as you? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, stop being angry then. So he's like, sure. So that's the end of Ron Prado. We never see him again after this scene, and he's literally never mentioned again. Like, he could have been, like, Dexter could have said, oh, what about Ron Prado? Or Sylvia in season 8. She returns. She could have said, oh, yeah, this is what happened to Ron. Like, no, he literally gets never mentioned or brought up again after this scene. And it would have, like, he would have said, oh, yeah, he reformed and became a better man and lost his anger and alcohol issues. But nope. Literally nothing happens to him after the scene. He literally just says, yes, I will stop, and no one brings him up again. Like, it would have been cool if Sylvia, Miguel's wife, who for some reason appears back up in the final scene of Dexter, said, hey, dude, this is what happened to her mom. Like, he gave up his, like, I've talked to him, and he says he's given up his alcoholism and become a better man, husband for his family. But nope, literally, this scene is the last scene. Ramon and Miguel are literally, actually, Ramon is never mentioned again. So Dexter's wedding has arrived, and we're seeing him and his dad, his solicitor dad, practice ties. So yeah, so then Deb says, oh, yeah, and also there's also this whole thing about Deb investigating her dad's CI file. It'll eventually get annoying for me because the fact is that Deb is looking for everyone but the main person that her dad slept with. I feel like she'll eventually come to that in season 4. But for now, she's really not close to, like, they even show the Laura Moser file, but Deb really doesn't even look at it. So, like, I think if she looked at it, she'd be like, oh crap, that's Laura Moser, Brian Moser, you know, but no, she literally doesn't even look at it. She just looks at the first person, and then we see a shot of it zooming over to Laura Moser's file. Yep, that's that. So, anyway, what happens is that it just cuts to Dexter and Rhea getting married, doing their vows. We don't see Dexter someone walking Rhea down the aisle. Nope, just a little cuts to Dexter and Rhea reading their vows. I felt like the show wanted to end like this because they felt like they were already extending their run time too much. So they decided to move past the absolutely interesting stuff about what's more important about a wedding. Nope, it just cuts to Dexter saying his vow, and they get married, and now Rita's Rita Morgan. Now Dexter has a monologue about now how he's a family man. That's the end of season 3, and I've rewatched the first 2 seasons of the show, and I felt like season 2. If I watch season 2 again, I will always feel like season 2 wasn't that good. Like they could have done more of season 2. Like, Rita immediately realizing she's in love with Dexter came out of nowhere. Like, she calls him and says, I'm in love with you. When did you come up with that? Like, it would have been interesting if we saw Rita go on dates and then that's when she realizes that she's in love with Dexter. But nope, she just tells him. And that's why I feel like the major problem with season 2 is that they don't explore Rita getting over Dexter. We do see her moping about, but that's it. Her mom's like, get over him. And she literally doesn't do anything else for the rest of the season to get over him. She does apologize for the Lila relationship, but immediately she's just like, oh yeah, Dexter, I love you, by the way. It's just like, come on, Rita. How'd you come up to this conclusion? But speaking of this season, I feel like season 3 was way better than season 2. It had a really good villain in Miguel Prado. It had a really good story about Dexter wanting to teach Miguel how to be like him, unknowing that Miguel was using him from the beginning. And I liked the whole thing of Aster, how how she was starting to, age, and I like the whole scene in the flashback where Harry with or grown up Dexter with a grown up Dexter's son, and Harry's like, oh yeah, Aston and Clay would be older, but Dexter's like, yeah, no, I like them this age. It's kind of like, yeah, Dexter doesn't want Aston and Clay grow up, but they will. Next season, we'll really see Aston grow up. So anyway, that's the end of season 3 of Dexter. Hopefully, season 4 is a way better experience for me. Season 4 is said to be one of the best seasons of the show. I'll have to put 2 slots in for the best episode of Dexter season 4. Because we have a great season. And I cannot choose one. We already have The Getaway on this playlist as the best episode of Dexter season. But there are 2 more. There's the pilot, and then there's season 4 episode 1, and season 4 episode 7. It's like 7 or 9. I think it's 7. Hungry Man. Those are the 2 episodes I'll be looking at for season 4. Or it's going to be I might have to look at Dex Takes Holiday 2. That's going to be 3. The pilot, Dex Takes a Holiday, and Hunger Man. See ya for those reviews. And this has been me reviewing my Dexter.